Well, I need some help now. Lord, I want to love a little bit more. I want to please you.
God bless you. My name is Elder Darrell Copeland. I am also an associate elder at the Refuge Church of Christ in Waterbury, Connecticut, where Bishop Roland Johnson is my pastor.
Hi, I'm James Brown Jr., associate elder at the Greater Refuge Temple in Harlem, New York, where my pastor is the Bishop Charles E. Wright Sr.
Grace and peace, everybody. I am Sean Tomlin, Creative New Normals Network, Jamaica, New York.
Welcome back. Once again, my name is Daniel Daleus. I'm one of the associate ministers at Beulah Tabernacle Church, where Pastor Horace C. Michael is my pastor. Because it could lead us to our first question, which is, what is a Christian? Because we don't really find the word Christian in the Bible. So I don't know. I think to myself, some people, like as you said previously, they're not Christians. They don't know anything about church. Maybe some do, some don't. But what is a Christian?
I need some help now.
Well, in the book of Acts, I believe it's the 11th chapter, around the 26th verse, that's when they were first called Christians at Antioch.
Okay.
And for some reason, I may not be an expert on this, but when you read it and you really do the research, you find that when they called them Christians, it was almost even as mockery in a sense, because they wanted to, just put a label. We live in a world that labels you according to what you do and whatnot.
So define a Christian.
Christians, for me, in terms of definition, just simply means a follower of Christ. And in the New Testament church, we understand that since when Christ was resurrected, all right, he gave disciples instructions for a 40-day period. And then that they carried his word and they used that now to teach the New Testament church. All right. You want to call it the apostles' doctrine. It's all still instructions from Christ. So that as an individual reads the Bible and lends itself to its principles and practices, this person is a follower of Christ and therefore can call and identify themselves as Christian. I don't think that a person, adversely, if a person is not using the Bible as the foundation of their living, it doesn't matter that they go to a building called church.
Right. Okay.
They are not Christian. All right. So you are a Christian when you are a follower of Christ and his principles, the first being love.
Quiet over there. Let's hear something from you. How do I follow Christ? Tell me how. I just walked in your church.
Okay, he broke it down very, very plain. Being labeled as a Christian or being a Christian is when you have taken on the principles of the teaching of Christ. In the New Testament, there are 4 books of the Bible, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which follows the life of Christ and the parables and his teachings. And in those books, there's many jewels that you can obtain just by reading the word and being able to apply those principles to your life as an individual. But he said something that was very clear, and I think something that's missing even today, and that is love being the motivation and the reason why we do all of this. Because if it's not love-driven, then it really means nothing.
I like that.
I really like that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I believe in the Bible, somewhere in there, it says that by this shall men know that you are my disciples, that you have love one for another. I love that analogy, because a lot of times in the Christian church, people say they're the most hypocritical people. They don't have love, so on and so forth. So that, what does that say to us?
It doesn't say anything to us. I think sometimes people use that as a scapegoat to not go to a building called church. At the end of the day, everybody that goes to the building is not in the church, and therefore cannot be identified as Christian, and therefore won't exhibit the attributes of one that is Christian. So again, even the scriptures tell us, ye that are spiritual, restore such a one who was taken in the fall. So because you go to church doesn't mean that you have the spirit of restoration.
Wow.
If you can't see past this person's faults and restore them, because you got to be spiritual to do that. You see what I mean? So I think it's very clear, it's very important to distinguish between people that go to a building and people that follow his principles.
Okay.
Because there's some people that can't make it to the building, my God, but still follow his principles. Right. You see, and God will count that lifestyle not just the teachings, not just what we hear, but how you live. He will count that lifestyle more valued than one that's going there every day of the week and just mean as a rattlesnake. You understand?